You are one of those people who promised not to cross from one party to the other, but you did. This is a quote from you. I will never leave ABGA. I'd rather quit politics. PDP is a curse to the Southeast. And you ran on the platform of the PDP along with Alhaji Atiku.
That brief video you saw was a preamble to a live interview Peter had with Arise News. From that video, you will come to discover that our leaders, they have diverse capacity and diverse ability in their leadership sphere. And one of those leaders that have proved to us that leadership is not all about gathering weight for yourself is Peter Obi, especially his tenure in Anambra State. And diverse area of leadership, he has actually emerged as a leader. You will see how he exemplifies what a leader ought to be. Right now, as the case may be, all leaders cannot be the same. Some leaders might be bad, while others could be good. All the same, whether bad leaders or good leaders, all of them have one lesson the followers will learn. And one of those lessons will go a long way for you to build up your own life as an individual. Because after one leader, another follower will become a leader. You didn't get that? After one leader, a follower will become another leader. So all followers, as the case may be, might end up becoming leaders in one sphere of life or the other. And as every leader comes our way, let's do our best to pick life lessons from their own life, so that through their own life, we can build up our own leadership ability and give the best to the common man. As you are good in castigating, as you are good in condemning, your tongue will become one day. And as those things you condemn people for, you castigate people for, do your best to build on them so that those things will not be your own weakness and people will also talk bad of you. Let's see how we can get some good aspect from leadership and use that good aspect to build our own act of leadership in different categories, ranging from your family down to your community, to your local government, to the state you belong, to the nation, and the entire world. Anywhere you find yourself to be a leader, from the smallest unit of leadership to the greatest of all, do your best to live out your life as a good leader. Now, the interview continues. At the end of the interview, I want you to make your input. Do your best to also subscribe to this channel to enable us do more video, which we encourage you also to support leadership and commit yourself to the art of leadership. Good view to you.
One is that, Ruben, I don't know why people leave from one party to the other. I can only comment on my own because it's mentioned there. The truth, like I said, I don't know about the other people, is that I want somebody to show me a tape where I made that comment. Every other person that's been quoted has been shown on tape. Mine was something that was orchestrated for a purpose. And Ruben, to tell you why, just look at the second position in it. We have said that PDP is a cost to the Southeast. Ruben, I was the chairman of Southeast Governors Forum for 8 years, throughout my 8 years of being in office. We're supposed to be rotating it yearly, but every other governor said to me, continue. And the other 4 governors were PDP governors. Ruben, there's no way I would have said that, and they kept me on. Ruben, I'm lucky that you're here because you happen to be a very close aide to President Jonathan. And Ruben, you can't think of any governor being close to Jonathan than me. I was his financial advisor, serving as a governor. I was in his economic management team. How would I have gone and said that about PDP and they kept me? So these things are not the way they look. What is happening is that everybody is looking for where to damage everybody. I'm not saying that there was a time to my leader, my revered leader, late, I call it general of the people, Ojukwu, had a slight worry about my own closeness to PDP. And just discussing on his own, he said, Peter, I hope we're not joining this. I said, I will never leave you to the end. It was him. And everybody saw I was with him when he got sick, took him abroad, his wife is still alive. Nobody ever gave me 1 penny. Paid his bill. When he died, I came back here. Go and ask Ben Obi, the people who were in the committee who buried Ojukwu. So it's not the same thing.
If you watched Arrest News recently, you probably noticed something unusual. What was meant to be another tough grilling quickly turned into a moment that many viewers are now calling a major political reset. Peter Obi didn't raise his voice, he didn't attack anyone, but he calmly dismantled a narrative that has followed him for months. And even seasoned broadcaster Reuben Abati appeared momentarily taken aback. During a live segment on Arise News, Peter Obi was confronted with familiar claims that critics often repeat about him. That his economic positions are unrealistic, that his campaign promises lack clarity,
and that some of his past statements don't align with present realities. These are arguments that have circulated widely, especially on social media and among political opponents. Reuben Abati, known for his sharp questioning style, pressed Obi on these points. The tone wasn't hostile, but it was firm. The expectation perhaps was that Obi would either sidestep the questions or give generic political responses. Instead, he did something different. He asked for specifics. Rather than responding emotionally, Obi requested that the exact claims be clarified. When a figure was cited, he corrected it with publicly available data. When assumptions were presented, he calmly separated opinion from verifiable numbers. And when past statements were referenced, he explained the context in which they were made. At one point, reports indicate that when Abati suggested that Obi's proposed economic reforms could destabilize certain sectors, Obi responded by pointing to comparative
examples from other developing economies. He explained how fiscal discipline, investment in production, and cutting waste in governance were not radical ideas but globally tested principles. He didn't dismiss the concern. He acknowledged it, but then methodically addressed it. What stood out was the tone. There was no shouting, no dramatic confrontation, just steady explanation. That's what made the moment powerful. In Nigerian political media, we're used to heated exchanges, but this was different. It felt more like a policy discussion than a political argument. Viewers online quickly reacted. Some said Abati looked surprised because Obi had clearly prepared for the questions. Others argued that the exchange simply showed how live interviews can shift when guests come armed with detailed responses. Either way, it sparked conversation. Now, why does this matter? Because narratives shape perception. In Nigeria's political landscape, propaganda, whether subtle or
direct or uncertainty, often spreads faster than correction. When a public figure has the opportunity to address claims live without editing, it allows viewers to judge for themselves. Peter Obi's strategy appeared straightforward: respond with data, maintain composure, and avoid personal attacks. Instead of challenging the interviewer, he focused on the issues raised. That approach can be effective because it redirects attention to substance rather than personality. Another important moment came when the discussion shifted toward governance and accountability. Critics have sometimes argued that Obi's anti-corruption stance is more rhetoric than plan. In response, he outlined structural reforms he believes are necessary. including transparency in budgeting and prioritizing productive sectors. Whether one agrees with him or not, he articulated the framework in clearer terms than some expected. Reuben Abati, to his credit, continued pressing. He asked follow-up questions and sought clarification. That's the role of a journalist. But the dynamic had changed. Instead of the conversation revolving around accusations, it revolved around explanations. For many Nigerians watching, especially young voters, this kind of exchange is significant. It demonstrates the importance of long-form interviews over short clips. Context matters. A 30-second social media snippet can distort meaning. A full discussion gives room for nuance. It's also worth noting that Arise News has built a reputation for challenging interviews. Politicians who appear there know they will be questioned thoroughly. So when a guest navigates that environment effectively, it carries weight. Some analysts suggest that Obi's performance may help counter certain persistent narratives about him being unprepared or overly idealistic. Others caution that one interview doesn't erase broader political debates. Both perspectives are fair. But there's another layer here. Nigerian political discourse often becomes personality-driven. Supporters and critics clash online, sometimes losing sight of policy. What happened on that program reminded viewers that substance still matters. The exchange also highlights something deeper about media responsibility. When claims are presented on live television, there's a shared obligation from both interviewer and guest to ensure clarity. Misunderstandings can spread quickly. Clarifications, when done calmly, can be equally powerful. And perhaps that's why the phrase dumbfounded started trending in online discussions. Not necessarily because anyone was defeated, but because the expected script didn't play out. Instead of defensiveness, there was composure. Instead of evasion, there was explanation. For supporters of Peter Obi, this moment reinforces their belief that he thrives in policy-driven discussions. For critics, it presents an opportunity to refine their arguments. Democracy benefits when debates move beyond slogans. Now, let's be clear. Political interviews are snapshots, not full biographies. They show how someone handles pressure, how prepared they are, and how they communicate ideas. But governance itself is a different challenge entirely. Still, perception influences momentum. In a country where trust in political leadership fluctuates, moments like this can shape public opinion. They can energize supporters or prompt skeptics to reassess. And that's why conversations like these deserve calm analysis rather than hype. No dramatic headlines, no exaggerated claims. Just a look at what was said, how it was said, and what it might mean going forward. If you've watched the interview yourself, you probably formed your own impression. And did Obi effectively clarify the issues? Did Abati ask the right questions? Or do you think there were points left unanswered? These are the kinds of discussions that strengthen democratic engagement. As we move forward, keep in mind that political narratives are constantly evolving.